carrying like 90 pounds of equipment, you're going to fall down. Stop it. It's Thursday! Welcome to another edition of Steve's Dang It, where we take a look at the No, that's the other one. Welcome to another edition of Steve's Dang It's, where we take a look at the biggest dang it's from around the NHL over the past week. But this one's a little different because over the last week we had the All-Star Game. Now, not everybody loves the All-Star Game, and I understand that, but I've been to a couple. 2015 in Columbus, 2019 in St. Louis, which was actually the last one before this one. Actually, to prove that the last couple of years have melted my brain, no, that was 2020. January 2020. Man. Well, anyway, the All-Star Game is meant to be an extremely fun event for everyone attending. It's generally very kid-friendly, everyone's in a good mood, no one's combative, you're not gonna see any fights. That used to be a thing, by the way. Just get together and punch each other in the face in a game that doesn't even count. Back when there was respect in the game, you know. But overall, what I always tell people, whether you like the All-Star Game or not, if you go to one, you'll understand. It's a fun experience, which is why it's a little confusing to me why there are offside reviews in an All-Star Game! Why? Why? For the purpose of what? No one wants this. No one asked for this. Who suggested this? Someone should give the officials the power to just say no. They don't even need the power to say no. They should just say it. No! Hey, can you review? No! It's the All-Star Game. Didn't you see the sign on the way in? Not a single person in the building wanted any of these offside reviews. No one watching on television wanted any of them. And the reason we have offside reviews, I understand, because a lot of us don't like them. It's like eating yucky vegetables if you don't like vegetables. You don't like the taste, but they're good for you. This weekend, I'm gonna consume chicken wings. Are you? I know I am. You know why? Chicken wings are delicious! But there is a reason I don't have them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. You gotta mix it up. Offside reviews are meant to ensure the integrity of a game in the regular season and in the playoffs. And we don't have to like them, but a few years ago, Matt Duchene ruined it for everybody, so now we all have to suffer through this. But ultimately, at the end of the day, getting the call right is the priority. Making sure all things are fair in competition are the priority. But we already know that's not a priority at the All-Star Weekend because Alex Pietrangelo won that skills thing instead of Jack Hughes or Trevor Zegras because he was wearing lights and played for the home team. That sucked! But he won because it's in Vegas and the house always wins and it's allegedly funny. So if we're not bothering with it there, if we're not bothering with the integrity of competition there, offside reviews, why? No! Never! That's a dang it. That wasn't even the only dang it. Speaking of Alex Pietrangelo winning that skills breakaway, whatever, I just hit the camera. He won without even scoring a goal!
Now that's Vegas.
All right, judges, let's see the scores. He had the drum line, he had some neon.
He's trying to be creative
And trying to make sure that
the home team
he's
wins.
a popular guy in Vegas.
That is a 64. That is your winner.
Listen, I know you're trying to do a bit, the house always wins, whatever. You didn't score a goal, which means your bit sucked. Or it was better. I can't tell. But it stunk! Boo! Boo! I know it's all supposed to be fun, but boo! Outrageous boo! Jack Hughes was better. Trevor Zegras was the talk of the town, the talk of the hockey world. Why do we keep shunning Trevor Zegras? Stop it. Stop it. I know it's in Vegas and it's Alex Pietrangelo and everyone there is going to cheer him anyway, but I wish I was there so I could boo! Boo! No! That's a dang it. Now, for our next dang it, games that actually count, and that is fortunate for one of these teams and unfortunate for the other. Vancouver Canucks, they were having a really bad start to the season and then they righted the ship and this game went south in a hurry. Here's the New York Islanders scoring 3 goals in 30 seconds.
Marchand
to Martin. And Halak made the stop. Now Dobson moves in. He centers the puck. They score.
Games to start the season.
There's another goal and a long shot by Pellick that found its way in past Halak. Happy with their first period against Arizona, but they got away with it. This time they're down 2-0, and there's another one off the leg of Anders Lee.
I'm sorry, you can't blame 3 goals in 30 seconds on one person. That's a team effort. You know what was hilarious about this is the Islanders and Barry Trotz went with very strange lines in this game, basically having like a tough guy or a grinder on every single line instead of the identity line. He broke it up, and I was playing Chell, it was on headset, and they were like, oh, it's 1-0 Islanders. Oh, it's 2-0. 3-0. 4-0. And by the 5th Islanders goal, we wanted to know, are the Canucks okay? 3 goals in 30 seconds, the first time since 1993 that has happened. Oh boy, good for the Islanders, but for the Canucks, that's a dang it. For our next dang it, we debated whether or not this belonged, because ultimately a goal was not scored against the Washington Capitals here, but it bears repeating that if you're a goaltender, tend the goal!
Drives it back through center. Caps with 90 seconds on the power play. Carlson, stick checked. Jenner beaten to the punch there. Copley some 35 feet out of the cage. He was tripped up.
By Boone Jenner, just about drew another minor penalty. Not too happy it wasn't called.
Phoenix Copley. Like, man, listen, goalies are unbelievable skaters. Like, they really are. Most goalies in the NHL, AHL, ECHL would eat you alive if they were playing out. You could let them play in goalie equipment out and they would eat you alive. But they're not playing against you, are they? They're playing against NHL players. You're wearing like 90 pounds of equipment, you're going to fall down. Stop it. I know you're trying to help, but stop it. But I will say this, I always look for this opportunity to mention Phoenix Copley, and this was a rare opportunity to mention Felix Copley. He's from North Pole, Alaska. That's a place. And he almost got a lump of coal for that one. That's a dang it. I have it from an inside source that when he got back to the bench, the coach said, be good for goodness sake. Now, for our next dang it, this is extremely rare, and I don't know how I missed this. Producer Drew coming through. An article from Russian Machine Never Breaks. I always say this, it's one of the best fan-run, team-specific blogs in hockey. Like, they just do the Capitals, and they do them extremely well. They brought us amazing stories like Mike Green from a few years ago. If you don't know that story, they stopped manufacturing the specific type of Easton stick, I think it was, that Mike Green used to score a ton of goals for. He was unreal from the blue line for a while. And eventually, he just ran out of them. So Washington Capitals fans, with the help of Russian Machine Never Breaks, found fans who had gotten signed Mike Green sticks over the years, and they gave them back to him. And he actually used them in NHL games and put up NHL points with sticks that he signed. That's a great story. Well, here's another story about fans getting their hands, literally, on Washington Capitals equipment. But I don't know. I'm not sure I like this one as much. A box, like an entire box of Nicklas Backstrom gloves, NHL quality gloves, were dropped off to a Washington Capitals fan's house. A house in Arlington, Virginia, to be specific. Well, they certainly weren't gonna keep these Nicklas Backstrom gloves, although, you know, one might have considered it. One being me, I'm one. I mean, if there's like 4 or 5 pairs of gloves in there, would he really notice if he missed one? He probably would. Well, they have more honor than me because they hooked up with the Washington Capitals and gave the gloves back. And in return for those Nicklas Backstrom gloves, the Washington Capitals gave them a bobblehead. Just a bobblehead. And maybe you're like, oh, well, that's kind of nice. At least they have a Nicklas Backstrom bobblehead to remember this funny situation. No. It's a Tom Wilson bobblehead. Capitals. Come on. Okay, anyone who's ever worked retail at a cash register, anything. You've had a kid walk up to you, pull out the contents of their pocket and go, what can I get for this? And you're trying to be nice, but the answer is usually nothing. That's what this is. No, you know what this is? Remember that 70s show when Red forgets Kitty's birthday and he buys her something from the gas station? You buy like a funnel? That's what the Capitals did here. I'm sure that whoever went and picked up the gloves left in haste because they accidentally sent like $1,000 worth of NHL quality equipment to another state. But come on! I have faith the Washington Capitals are going to do the right thing here and eventually hook these fans up. But a bobblehead? And not even a Backstrom bobblehead? That's a dang it. Come on. Dude, I'm just sitting here looking around this room and I could have done better than that. That's a Backstrom figure right there. This Backstrom figure that I happen to be sitting in front of. I didn't even know I was going to be talking about Backstrom when I sat down. This would have been a better gift. And it was less than 5 feet away. Can I interest you in this Braden Holt beast thing? Like, at least they got a current Capital, I suppose. By the way, this is not a figurine, it's an action figure. If I take it out of the box, it just starts beating you up. By the way, this is cool as hell. Like, look at his feet. Look at he's like a werewolf, but Braden Holtby. A werewolf with a Verizon belt. I don't know. Dude, a Tom Wilson bobblehead, get out of here. You could have stopped at a drugstore on the way there and picked up a better Washington Capitals themed gift. I have a Cap Stanley Cup hat upstairs. Do you want it? Okay, now this next one is gonna be interesting. I know you all thought I was gonna talk about it, so just a reminder, here is the nonsense between Brad Marchand and Tristan Jarry. The nonsense started much earlier in the night. Jarry is about to go flip a puck over the glass to some fans in Boston, and Marchand knocks it off his stick. Now, this I don't really have a problem with. I think it's, hilarious. The Bruins fans behind the glass thought it was hysterical, but I can understand why Tristan Jarry might not have liked it. Later in the game, the Pittsburgh Penguins are about to defeat the Boston Bruins in this game, and we all know Brad Marchand gets rather grumpy at the end of games where the Boston Bruins are losing. See his incident with Artemi Panarin. That happened in the final 20 seconds of a game the Bruins lost, I believe, 5-2. Doesn't matter what the score was, they lost. Well, he's salty again, and Tristan Jarry might have said something. I don't necessarily think this fell out of the sky.
Back to Pasternak. McAvoy's drive, a save by Jarry, and he took a Billy Smith swipe at somebody. Smith, a couple of bids. Marchand bangs away, and Jarry makes yet another series of saves, and Marchand is hot.
Well, we showed you that exchange even in between periods between Jarry and Marchand. Marchand's going to get an opportunity right here. Jarry makes a good stop, able to squeeze it with the left arm. Taylor Hall had an opportunity in there. Marchand comes in with a right punch to the side of the head of Jarry. That got reaction from all the Penguins as well as it should. And then Marchand, when he was trying to continue to go after Jarry, he reaches up with his stick here, the mask of the Pittsburgh goaltender.
Okay, first of all, here, can I voice this over? Show the ref. Here's 51. Great job. Great job, bro. Oh, you're doing great. He's a Christmas decoration on Brad Marchand's shoulder. Come on, get out of here. I go back to this because remember there was that big Sens Sabres thing where 8 of the 10 skaters on the ice got into a conflict, and then it was just one-on-one, and one of the teams scored, despite the fact that there was a skirmish against the boards, and officials were actually restraining players. Opinion that's growing on me. No NHL official should touch an NHL player ever. Why? For the purpose of what? Well, we're helping, are ya? Anyway, it's a dang it that Brad Marchand punched Tristan Jarry in the head. You can't do that. It's a dang it that Brad Marchand speared Tristan Jarry in the mask. And it's also a dang it that because of a game that was already lost, Brad Marchand went and got himself suspended for 6 games. Now, if you listen to my podcast, some of you might already know that I found that 6-game suspension to be quite surprising. And it's not because I don't think Brad Marchand was being a naughty boy on this play. He certainly was, and he's had a naughty boy season. It's not even his only suspension this season. But my prediction for how many games Brad Marchand would be suspended for this was 0. Oh, Steve, that's ridiculous. Why would you think 0? Oh, because you think the league is biased towards the Bruins. Oh, because you think the league is biased towards Marchand. No, it's not because of any of those things. I thought Brad Marchand would get 0 games because since when has Brad Marchand punching someone been a suspension? Answer this question, honestly. Since when has punching someone in the head been a suspension in the National Hockey League? Like, I'm talking face-to-face, punching someone in the face. Fighting is 5 minutes! At the time I'm shooting this video, I don't know if Marcus Foligno was suspended or not for kneeing Adam Lowry in the face. Maybe that should be in this video too. But part of the reason there was a knee is because they were so angry, and part of the reason they were so angry is that was the second time they fought in that game. You're allowed to punch each other in the face so much that you're allowed to do it twice. If you time it correctly, you could fight each other like 12 times in a game. It's 60 minutes, it's 5 minutes each. Math. Now you might get a game misconduct before that, but you also might not. And that's just speaking generally in the NHL. You're allowed to punch someone in the head. You are. Might get an unsportsmanlike, 2 minutes for roughing. But as a number of people tweeted at me over the past few days, Marchand punched Scott Harrington right in the back of the head in a playoff game. And one thing I screamed from the top of my lungs on the podcast was, okay, he can get whatever suspension they want to give him now in the regular season. Are you telling me Brad Marchand would get suspended for what he did to Tristan Jarry in the playoffs? Really? Game 5, round 3. It's the Eastern Conference Final. Marchand does that to Jarry. He's getting suspended. Is he getting suspended 6 games? Well, it's the playoffs. You got to cut it in half. 3, 1. You're out of your mind. No, he isn't. One of the things I saw people say is, well, it's a goalie. You can't mess with a goalie. Why? Why does that make a difference at all? Why does it matter that Scott Harrington, who also got punched in the head by Brad Marchand, is a defender and Tristan Jarry is a goalie? What, do defensemen and forwards have thicker brain fluid that prevent concussions? I know generally speaking you don't touch the goalie, but why are you allowed to punch a defenseman in the back of the head as well? You're allowed. If you're not punished for something, you're allowed. Now wait, some people dramatically misunderstood the point that I'm trying to make here. The point I'm trying to make here is not that punching someone in the head or spearing them in the face, it's not that that should be legal, because it super shouldn't be. It's not that you shouldn't get suspended for that, because you super should be. My question is, since when has that been a suspension? You can't just arbitrarily give Brad Marchand a Lifetime Achievement Award, which is essentially what this suspension is. I agree this should be a suspension. It should be. But since when has it ever been? It's good if NHL player safety is having a change of heart about these things, but as long as we acknowledge that it's definitely a change of heart. Because honestly, to me, this is a rare example of NHL player safety getting it right. And for Marchand, 6 games, man. That's a dang it. Now, we just had a long debate what is and isn't a penalty, what is and isn't a suspension. I think we can all agree that this next play, and the last dang it that we're going to show, is not a penalty, except it was called one. Poor Tyler Motte.
Gets an assist, so does Noah Juleson. Those are a couple of the easiest assists they'll ever receive.
Ekman Larsson stopped the puck behind the net. Here, you take it.
We got a puck hit with a high stick, pardon me. And the Canucks. Or is it a penalty? Tyler Motte's in the penalty box, and Bruce Boudreau can't believe it. Here's why.
Well, he wants them to look at it. And here's Tyler Motte. His stick gets knocked out of his hand, and it comes up and hits Jacob Chychrun. Labushkin hooks the stick out of Tyler Motte's hand. And you can see them over talking to Bruce Boudreau, and
everyone was imploring them to have a look at the replay.
take a look.
Okay, so let's quickly explain what happens there, because again, NHL officials, they have a tough job. It's happening very fast. Tyler Motte is chasing down the puck carrier, Jacob Chychrun. Ilya Labushkin, who is not on Tyler Motte's team, he's on the Arizona Coyotes, stick lifts Motte's stick out of his hands. That stick, while flying through the air, nails Jacob Chychrun in the face. Now, that's not funny. It's a little bit funny. I hope Jacob Chychrun is okay. But calling that a penalty in the moment, while wrong, it's definitely wrong, I understand it. But here's the part where why? They had an entire TV timeout to watch a 5-second replay, and they didn't do it. Some of you watched this and saw it in real time like I did, and you were like, oh, shucks and fiddlesticks. They got the call wrong, and now the Vancouver Canucks have to kill this penalty. Isn't that funny? Isn't that unfortunate for them? Trying to protect a 3-goal lead in the third period, which in 2022 is not as stable as it once was. It wasn't in 2013 either, but it's definitely not in 2022. Now, no, refs can't reverse their decision, except they can. I've watched them do it a bunch of times. I remember there was one in a Leaf game a few years ago. It was either Matt Hunwick or Roman Polak, and then they went in the box and they said, hey, I didn't do that. And they're like, okay, you didn't do that. And then they left the box. Remember that whole fiasco with the Carolina Hurricanes and Columbus Blue Jackets where there was a goal that shouldn't have been a goal, and then there was a penalty, and they were like, oh, you shouldn't have a penalty, and they got rid of the penalty mid-penalty? Don't tell me you can't do something I've seen you do. You had the entirety of a TV timeout. The music is blaring. They got people shoveling the ice. You have so much gosh darn time. The broadcast team is laughing at this in real time. Nope, you gotta kill it. What if the Coyotes score on this power play and go on to win the game? Now, you might say, well, sucks to suck then. Don't go and blow a 4-2 lead, which is what it would be after that. And, well, yeah, you might have a point. But the 4-2 lead was born from something that was nonsense. It's not a penalty. You screwed up, and you didn't have to screw up. We all screw up, but you can fix your screw up if you open your eyes. And they refuse to, and I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. That's a dang it. They should have reviewed the play for offside as well. I'm so confused. I'm always confused. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. A bobblehead? They should have just kept the gloves.